able to get out again, so thank you very much for being here. I suppose the aim of the next 30 minutes is, number one is to give away all my secrets, and number two is to tell you why I'm becoming a grumpy old man on YouTube. Because if you've interacted with me on LinkedIn or you've interacted with me on my YouTube channel, you'll know I like to be very argumentative and challenging and generally grumpy, I think. And it's all because of this fine thing here. Why? Okay, why? So we're going to talk about that this morning. Now, you've all turned up for these 2 or 3 days. You all want to learn something. And listening to the presentations, you're essentially going to get 3 things from the presentations. People are giving you 3 bits of information. So let's just flick through this. They're giving you the what, the why, and the how. Okay, the what, the why, and the how. And you're kind of listening to all this stuff, and you're waiting for the silver bullet to kind of strike you somewhere. And you're looking for little golden nuggets of information. But of course, it's a bit like this, isn't it? It's a bit like sitting in a flipping hurricane. People are giving you all these phrases. They're talking about case studies, and here's where we worked, and we were in this industry and that industry, and woof, what am I going to what am I going to pick up? Where is the kind of silver bullet? And then once you've had the lean hurricane, someone like me comes along, and we give you the Six Sigma tsunami, okay? So, and we just blasting you with phrases. I think in Six Sigma we love a good 3-letter acronym. Yeah, you know. So, just to confuse you all the more. And as I've already said, what are we putting across to you? Well, we're talking about what. We're talking about why, and we're talking about how. Now I have to say, something that I'm passing on here is a bit of a happy accident. My company, or my strap line on my company is complexity made simple. All right, so that's something that I sort of added to my company, if you like, probably halfway through my consulting career. Because people were saying to me, oh, thanks for the course. I understood it. I've been in a course before. You made it seem really simple. How the hell did I manage to do that? You know, when you're talking about statistics, making it seem simple, isn't it? The easiest thing in the world to do. And I spoke one day to a colleague. He's probably one of the most influential consultants that I ever worked for. We were talking about this, and he said, well, Paul, he said, you're teaching them the what, the why, and the how. He said, but actually, he said, do you know what you do? He said, I'm going to laser point the middle, laser point the earth. He said, you concentrate on the why. I rarely tell people how. I tell people why we're going to do something. And when you realise how important the why is, and this is why I get, like I say, this is why I get argumentative, because if you clash with one of my whys, I'm going to challenge you and go, that doesn't make any sense. The why. Why? Well, get you motivated. Cola mentioned at the end of all my videos, I usually say, do this and let's make more money. Why do I say? So that's the why. Why do I use that phrase at the end? Because I know that if I've got senior managers watching, Fiona's just in the accountancy bit, if I've got the senior managers watching, what's the only thing they're interested in? We want to make more money. So it's the last thing I always say, because then the senior man, oh, hang on, I can make some cash with this thing. And that's the reason why I do it. It's the why. I'm trying to get people motivated. Because if I don't get you motivated, you are never going to go away and calculate standard deviation. You know, that's a hard sell. What? Show me the maths. Why? Why am I going to do that? I want to get you motivated. But it also gives you deeper understanding of what it is that you're doing. You know, so I was listening to some of the presentations this morning, so Constantine's presentation, you could see the way they, you know, you want to do process mapping, understand the process. That's just buy a robot. Why do you want to do that? Well, because it'll be a successful implementation. You'll make more money if you do that. Let's go back to that. You go to that ultimate why. And so you can get people motivated, because senior managers don't want to do the mapping, do they? They're like, I want the robot. Give me the technical thing. You've got to get them motivated to do the work, and you've got to get them to understand. Why are we doing this? I want to make the money. Give me the robot. Yeah, why the mapping? So I said that it's going to be a little bit, what's the word? A little bit interaction. So we'll turn this into a little bit of a game show, I think. So I've just got some various, we're going to start with some lean things. Best thing to do, by the way, if you're going to understand the why. Let's start at the top, okay? Now, these are my ways. I'm going to give you some of my ways. They're my ways to try and get people interested. Sometimes they are my ways to stop senior management doing stupid things, because they're locked into an old-fashioned behaviour, and I'm trying to get them out of an old-fashioned behaviour. So these are my ways. Of course, the reason I'm going to ask you folks is because I want to steal your ways, so that I can have some fresh thinking when I stand in front of my clients. So let's start with this one. Why? What do we do lean for? Dan's mentioned it this morning, by the way. It's fantastic. Dan turned up and I thought, oh, fantastic. He said exactly what I need. Brilliant. I'll have to send him the check in the post. Lean. Why?
First step to a 3-day weekend.
It's the first step to a 3-day weekend. First step to a 3-day weekend. Why do we, you know, so what? I mean, yeah, make more money. We can go with that one. We can go with make more money. But if I'm trying to get people to think differently, this is the point. So this is my why. What is lean? It's flow time. That's it. And I'm going to keep it as simple as that. So if you're a senior manager and you're trying to understand, what are we trying to transform? I'm trying to transform the flow time. I'm definitely going to get them away from the money, by the way. I'm going to keep the accountants away from them at this point, because usually if they start thinking about cost savings, they're going to make all the wrong decisions, go in all the wrong directions. It's flow time only. And it's to give it a simplistic concentration and to change your mind, change your thinking about what you're currently doing. If I talk about cost savings, by the way, what do senior managers tell me who've been in a company for 40 years? I say they've never done lean. You say it's about cost saving. What are they going to tell you? They're usually going to say, well, we've been doing cost savings for 40 years. This is nothing new then, is it? I want to get them away from that. That's why I use that why. What else we got? See, flow time equals money. That's the other reason why. Yeah, so if I want to go a little bit deeper, flow time equals money. What else have we got? Oh, he's one of my favourites to get annoyed about. Somebody said they were talking about 6S yesterday. Please don't tell me you had a discussion about 6S. 6S yesterday. No, we've got 9 S's yesterday. God, I would have got grumpy yesterday. Why? Why do you do 5S? It's a resetting exercise, okay? Anybody else got a why? Don't tell me it's to tidy up. Anybody says housekeeping, I'll get my shotgun out. Chris?
See problems sooner.
See problems sooner. Okay,
Get them fixed by somebody else.
Get them fixed by somebody else.
Get ready to review it.
So, you know, for me, 5S is process control. It's a process control tool. That's what I use it for. That's what I teach people to use it for. It is definitely not housekeeping. And if you get locked into the idea that 5S is housekeeping, it is dead in the water and useless to you. It is a complete waste of time. It really is. And if you get these whys wrong, and you let those whys persist in your organisation, you will waste your time using the tool for the wrong thing. So it's a process control tool. Actually, I've recently got another why for 5S. I'm getting kind of passionate about it. So this was a new why. Standard work it's always in lean, but suddenly dawned on me the other day, most of the things you do in lean is standard work. And so, new why? It's 5S, it's standard work. The guys who are implementing robots, what do you need to make the robot work? You need standard work, didn't you? Yeah. TPM. Somebody mentioned TPM this morning. What is it? For maintenance teams, standard work. Spend, what is it? Well, it's for setups, standard work. Pull, what is it? It's standard work, it's a standard signal and a standard quantity, pulled at a standard time. Min-max, standard work. Audit, standard work. Everything in lean is standard work. Why do I want to do standard work? So let's go down again. So you can play games with this and link all this stuff together. So why standard work? Learn how to learn. Yeah. Dan said this morning, one of the things Dan said, he said, stabilise your process. One of the things he said, stabilise your process, and then he started talking about doing experiments. Standardise your process and do experiments. It's all of those things stabilise your process. You can't learn until you stabilise the process. You can't learn until you stabilise the process. And so, you know, and if you're trying to get the messages across, I know that all of you fine folks here, I know you're all committed to some kind of process improvement. You wouldn't have turned up to this event if that wasn't your way of thinking. So in some respects, I don't need to convince you fine folks of the benefits of what we're talking about. But of course, what you've got to do is you've got to go away and convince somebody else, haven't you, that doesn't want to change and has been doing their job for 20 years and they're very happy with their Excel spreadsheets, etc. And they're very comfortable. And the process is working okay. Why do you want to get me to change? And you've got to find good ways to get people motivated. If you think about change, every single one of us has got one thought in their mind. What's in it for me? What's in it for me? And therefore, you've got to find the why that gets them locked in and goes, this is a fantastic idea. Let's do more of this. Let's standardise the workload, whatever it happens to be. You've got to find the why. So, I mean, these whys for me are to give people process understanding. But sometimes I'm giving people whys to get them to work with me. You know, if I'm working with people and we're doing 5S, why are we doing this? Well, I want to make your job easy. I want to take away your frustrations. What's upsetting you? What gets in the way of doing your job? And they go, oh, okay, this might be quite interesting. I think I might do some 5S. You've got to find a why. Now that's Six Sigma. Get into something a bit more tricky. Why do we do this? If lean's about flow time, what am I going to teach somebody Six Sigma for? And by the way, I'm a manufacturing guy, so I'm stuck in manufacturing companies. So this is manufacturing why for me. Measurement of a standardised process, maybe. Meeting customer expectations. So we're going up a little bit on the whys. Chris?
Variation can lead to problems.
Okay, so variation. Okay, variation control. So here's going to be this is my why, top line. Relentless and ruthless. There you go, Chris. You win first prize there. That was my first why that I learned. What do I tend to say today? I tend to say this. So it's world-class technical problem solving. It was designed to be world-class technical problem solving. That's what Motorola had a problem with. They had a bucket load of technical problems, really, really intractable problems. Their target for their quality was to be 1,800 times better in the field. So you know sometimes you set these stretch targets where you go, can we be 10 times better? Can we cut the defect rate in half? And this type of stretch target. Motorola's target was to be 1,800 times better.
Wow.
Because that was where their competition was, by the way. Their competition was just blowing them out the water because they were 1,800 times more reliable in the market. Their competition was already there. That is world-class technical problem solving right there. So if you're going to get Six Sigma out of the toolbox, you've probably got some serious technical problems. If you're going to train somebody to be good at Six Sigma, what are they going to be? They're going to be world-class technical problem solvers. That's what it's about. Lean's about flow time, Six Sigma's about technical problem solving. What else we got here? Oh, now it's getting more tricky, isn't it? Because everybody's going to say, well, we just love statistics. There's no reason to have to sell statistics. It's obvious. How do I sell statistics to my clients? What's the why for statistics?
How to lie and get away with it.
How to lie and get away with it. Yeah. What's that? Turn numbers into pictures. Yeah, that's a good one. Turn data into information is another thought. Here's one of the things I stole. We think statistics is mathematics, and so we think 2 and 2 equals 4. So the gentleman says a lie with the statistics. So there's certainly a little bit of ability to bend the numbers a little bit there. But here's the deal. Every single number you look at is an estimate. It doesn't matter where it comes from, who calculated it. Even the fine people in accounts, they give us an estimate of what happened last month. When I do my accounts and I send it to the tax man, it's an estimate of what happened. Why is it an estimate? Because every time I send the bloody file off, I always think, oh, there's something I forgot to put in there. Usually some expenses that I've forgotten. It's an estimate. Every single number is an estimate. Now, if every single number is an estimate, what's the next sensible thing you're going to try and do?
Make it accurate.
You want to make an accurate estimate. You want it to be as good an estimate as possible. Well, you can't avoid this. Every number you look at's an estimate in business. Do you want good estimates or bloody awful estimates? And make some really important business decision on some floppy estimate that doesn't mean anything and drive your company into a brick wall. You can do that if you want to. It's your business. But it'd be better if you got fantastic estimates, made fantastic business decisions, and took over the world, which is what we're all trying to do. Yeah? So every number's an estimate. Oh, now we're getting lower. Oh. Why do we work out the mean? What's the mean? Oh, people want to go to lunch now all of a sudden. There's a sandwich. There's a sandwich waiting out there for me. Please let me out of here.
Signal.
Sorry, we've locked the doors. You've got to go through this pain before you get your lunch.
We need to earn
Signal.
our lunch.
Position.
Yes, we love to work out the average. Let's work out the average performance this week and things like that. Let's work out the mean. What's the mean? What is it? Anybody know what it is? Nobody knows what it is. You know. So you all get taught how. If I said to you, how do you work out the mean? You go, oh well, you get a load of numbers. You add them all up. You divide by the numbers you add. Fantastic. You all know the how, didn't you? You don't know why. Why are you going to work that out? What's that? Makes it easy to make decisions. It's an estimate of the middle.
It's covering your backside.
It's an estimate of the middle. If you want to know where the middle is. By the way, Lean loves this number. Nobody else does, but in Lean, if you're asked to create a plan in Lean, what does the plan ask you to do? It asks you to go and plan the middle number. people always tell me, oh, when we're planning, I wish we had a better forecast. I wish I had a better forecast. Well, use the middle number. Because if it's the middle number, guess what happens? Half of the time, you tend to over forecast. Half of the time, you tend to under forecast. But guess where you are most of the time? In the middle. Fantastic. If only people knew what great number to know, by the way. Oh, we're sinking fast now, we're sinking fast. My favourite statistic of all time, standard deviation. Now I know you all did this in class at some point. I learned this when I was 15 at school. God, the pain of it, just to pass an O level. But I love standard deviation. Why do I love standard deviation? It is the most wonderful number to calculate. Wow.
It puts a number to something that is really difficult to explain.
Well, I'm not sure it explains it. If you look at that, flipping heck, what the? It's a more robust measure of spread. What you're telling me, sir, is it's a better estimate. See, every number's an estimate. And you've already gone, now I'm going to use that technique to get a better estimate of spread. Absolutely, that's one of the things I would say. It's a better estimate of spread. Okay, fantastic, that's not necessarily going to convince the rest of the class, by the way, either the rest of the group.
It's always the spread that kills you, so the smaller the spread, the less likely you are to be killed.
Okay, it's the variation that's going to kill you, the spread that's going to kill you. How far away am I? Okay,
The
so...
customer never sees the average, the customer sees
the
the
risk of
variation.
The customer never says, oh, now we're getting some information here. Oh, we're flipping heck, we're learning something. Let's learn. See, this is where I use standard deviation. You see, I'll predict tomorrow with standard deviation. If you give me a small set of numbers, reasonable data set, I can predict what's going to happen in your process tomorrow, the day after tomorrow, and the day after tomorrow. I can predict a defect rate we haven't seen yet with a small sample. It's a fantastic number to know. You all want to be able to predict tomorrow, don't you? Well, in that case, I'll put that back up. I'll let you write it down, folks, because you're all going to want to have to do that. All right? Now, of course, I don't want to teach you. I don't want to teach you how. Because guess how I calculate that? I haven't used that thing since I was 15. I get my laptop out and I put some numbers in a spreadsheet and I press the button on the software. That's how you do it. You press some button on the... But if I don't know why, I'm never going to press that button. And you need to know why. Let's have a look. Any more on here? I've got a few. Oh, Steve, one for you. Statistical process control. Why do we do statistical process control?
It keeps my kids in Christmas.
It keeps your kids in Christmas. It's a good why. Why do I want you to do SPC? And I want all of you to do SPC, by the way. I don't care what industry you're in or what your process does. You know, for me, if you don't do this, you waste money. You know, you will make bad decisions. You'll misrepresent the numbers that you're looking at. There's all kinds of dangerous things you will do with your data sets if you don't use SPC.
Comfort zone.
What's that?
It's a comfort zone.
It's a comfort zone? Okay. Chris, what are you going to say?
Does it tell you when you've got to tomorrow?
Does it tell you whether you've got it tomorrow? This is why, this is a bit statistical, separates the signals from the noise. You should react to the signals and you should relax about the noise. So it stops you overreacting, it stops you investing resources in your fixing things that are illusions. It helps you to understand your data better. Yeah, so it's separating the signal from the noise. So that's one of my ways. I would normally do a little, you can watch one of my videos on YouTube when I'm explaining what SPC is with the dice, and there's all sorts of things, there's all sorts of whys in that video. But you've got to find a why. Nobody wants to do all of this stuff. Everybody just wants the answer now. Give me the single number, give me the answer, give me the silver bullet. Except it's a much quicker silver bullet than doing 40 years of Kaizen exercises, fellas, you know what I mean? That's not much of a bullet, is it? I don't know, it's a... a blunt instrument maybe if you're going to take 40 years. The other reason for SPC, it stops you making process performance worse. If you interfere with a process, and you don't need to, you'll just make it worse. They say, by the way, 90% of the time you make it worse. Just for all of you folks that are going to go away and do some interference with your business processes, they say 90% of the time, when an operator, someone that's involved in the process, when they take action day to day, 90% of the time, they make the situation worse. And by the way, that's not what the data tells them. You know, you can see signal from noise. They're reacting to noise, not reacting to signal. They're not understanding the data properly. They make the process worse. And finally, we'll finish off on my favourite subject. DOE, design of experiments. You know, people sometimes been on a DOE course, they go, oh, it's complicated, it's difficult to do. I'm not sure I want to do it, I'm not sure it'll work here. Why do I want you to go through the pain of learning how to do DOE? Anybody want to give me an answer to that one? The gentleman that likes standard deviation here, you've got to be able to. Okay, yeah, predict a setting that you haven't tried yet. Yeah, the power of prediction. Yeah, that's a good one. Yeah. I mean, especially if you work out how many different ways could you set your process up. It's often billions of ways. So when people go, yeah, well, we've got 30 years of experience of running this machine, and I go, oh, you've tried the 40 billion combinations, have you? Oh no, maybe we haven't. Shows you how your process really works. Yeah, what controls your process, Salman? Minimises trial and error, absolutely. Now that's getting close to the one that I'm going to show you. Gives you competitive advantage, maybe. It's the fastest way to find out. So when people go, oh, but I've got to do some tests here, I've got to do this and yeah, okay. You can make the tests up if you like. You don't learn anything. What you learn from a data set is based on the test that you designed. The knowledge is locked into the data set. If you randomly collect data, the knowledge is thin and poor. If you deliberately design the experiment to learn the most with the smallest sample size in the fastest way, you get that fine thing there. And that's what design of experiments is. So if you think there's a quicker way, well, somebody bloody tell me, because I want to write another book. And I'd love to invent something brand new instead of pinching everybody else's ideas. But for me, it's the fastest way to find out how a process works when it's got billions of combinations. We definitely haven't tried them all.
What it also does is the issue of upper management that don't want to invest the time to design it properly. So then they can be fast by just trial and error.
Trial and error, yeah.
But actually, just what Dinton's trying to say is to design it properly, because that's a scientific method.
Yes.
Design it properly, and then you know what you're measuring and what the output is.
Yes.
And then you can go back and fix it.
Yes. One of the reasons, that the point that you made, one of the reasons why people don't want to do this, they're optimistic. Everybody's optimistic about, we'll have the answer tomorrow. I'll do a few trials. We know how this machine works. We've been running it for 30 years. We'll have the answer tomorrow. We don't need to do those tests. Come on, let's just fiddle about with it. We'll get the answer, won't we? And we're always overly optimistic. And then a day later, 2 days later, 3 weeks later, 3 months later, we're still fiddling about looking for the answer. Now, guys, the idea wasn't to, I know you got super interested when I got talking about standard deviation there. The idea wasn't to kind of interest you in standard deviation. It's just to say to you, look, you're all trying to influence and bring people on and achieve great things in your organisation. You're trying to implement Lean, you're trying to implement Six Sigma. You might even be inventing your own way of improving your processes. If you're going to be successful and you're going to bring people along with you, you've got to think of your own whys. You've got to understand the, you know, the traditional whys maybe. You know, why are all these tools used? Why am I applying 5S here? Why am I applying TPM here? But whatever it is, you've got to find your own why. You've got to find your people's why. So that they all go, what a fantastic idea. Let's do some more of it. So if you think of any more whys, send me an email and then I'll pinch them off you as well. Okay? But I think it's time for that.
Thank
we can,
you.
We can unlock the doors now. It's time for that.
Couple of questions.